When I was a kid, I used to love pretending that I was Spider-Man, fighting crime, or some other Marvel hero. And now that I'm an adult, well, I like to pretend that I'm Spider-Man or some other Marvel hero fighting enemies with tabletop miniatures. That's better, right? In the world of tabletop miniatures, every game has that unique thing that pulls you in to the game. Whether it's lore, or the art style, or the gameplay, or just how easy it is to get into. And Marvel kind of has a little crutch in this area because we all know Marvel. We've been watching their movies for years. Like, the lore, I mean, if you love it, sure, it's a reason to keep playing, but you know a lot about these characters. You're not going to be reading any new lore for this game specifically because there's so much Marvel lore that's already out there. So how does it pull you in? A lot of different ways. Marvel Crisis Protocol is easily one of my top 5 picks of games, probably top 3 picks of games for newcomers to get into, just because it's easy to get into. If you buy a starter box, you have everything you need to play the game. And if you want to play a certain faction, it comes with everything you need to play that faction when you buy them. You don't have to buy extra cards or extra, anything else. It comes with what you need as long as you have the dice, which come in the starter box or one of the many faction starter boxes that they have released in the past. So, other than those things, what makes Marvel Crisis Protocol so great? Let's talk about it. Okay? They were generous enough to send me, a New York City block, which is why I thought I gotta do this video. And before you ask how they sent me a New York City block, it's simple. They sent me a couple apartment complexes. They sent me some comic book stores, the Daily Bugle. They sent me this enormous box of stuff, which is just another reason why this game is amazing, because this terrain is so cool. And I have had a blast putting it together. And sadly, I haven't had a lot of time to paint because I have been putting so much stuff together. Because talking about models that you like how they look, I love the models for Marvel Crisis Protocol. So since I'm technically already showed you my terrain kit that I'm working on, I got to talk a little bit about the terrain and what I love about it. First off, when they send you terrain, they send you a lot. The starter box comes with buildings, cars, lamp posts, tractors, all sorts of stuff. And something that is super unique to this game and that I absolutely love is that all of this terrain comes with a size. And how do you know what size it is? Well, simple. They put it on the bottom. 2, right? Can't see it in the bottom of this, but it says 4 in there. The tractor says 3 on the bottom of it. And this building, if I can show you, big old 5. Okay? And so those are the sizes of the terrain. It goes from 1 to 5. And what does that matter? Well, because some of the Marvel characters can throw a 4. Some of them can throw a 5. Okay, that means that when you're playing the game, this thing is coming flying across the board at you, at your characters, which is just another thing about this game that is just so cool, is that the terrain is movable. If your characters can fly, they fly over the terrain. If they can crawl up the terrain. There is so much that can be done with the board itself that it matters. Okay, and they lead you through it, they guide you through it. The cards and everything tell you exactly what's going to happen, but the terrain itself is just fun, and they never do just little bits here and there. They give you good quality stuff that you pay for. And that New York City kit, it's a little more expensive. It definitely is, okay? But it's really cool. Sorry, I'm just nerding out about it because it's just So fun to put it together and see it on the table and then immediately watch somebody throw it and it's out of the game for the rest of the game. But that's okay. That's what terrain is for. Okay, now, when I say that it comes with everything when you buy, like, the core box, I mean everything, okay? And just bear with me. Keep track of your scores and your points as you're playing the game so you know who's won and when it's over, okay? It comes with markers for your weapons, your blasts, and like the things that your characters do, their ranged attacks, okay? Comes with this, literally, oh, you can attack a range 5? Put this on the table, it shows you how far it goes. And one of the big things that I feel like people struggle with in most tabletop games is the tape measure. They don't like it, they don't like the conflict that comes from it. Marvel Crisis Protocol was like, get that out of here. Instead, we'll have movements, okay? And so they have 3 movement sticks that tell you, you know, this is long movement, medium movement, short movement, how far your character can go. So these are awesome, and you literally just put it down in front of your guy. Can they go that far? Well, if the stick goes there, they can go that far, okay? So, love that. Markers for all of the different stuff, and don't let it intimidate you, it's not that bad. There's just a lot of powers and characters in this game that use different abilities and do different things, and so having the markers is nice. And when you're running around with 5 or 6 characters per team, you got to show who's taking damage and, you know, and who's got what effect on them, who's got how much power on them. So there's little things that, like, they clearly put it out to you. Nothing has to remain in your head, and so you don't have to fight because you forgot something. You can just look over at your players' cards and see what damage they've taken at a glance, which is awesome. And then, like I said, dice. Okay, 2 bags of dice for 2 players. If you buy any starter set, it comes with 2 more of these, which is super nice. And you can play. You can play over and over and over again, different scenarios, different things. Like, the core box is awesome. The starter boxes are awesome. They give you what you need to play. And as long as you know the basic sizes of things, you can use a Kleenex to be a tower. It doesn't have to be an apartment building. And it's just fun. Like, fun, easy rule set. Great game. Okay, and without getting into too much detail, each kit comes with cards for the heroes that you've picked, and a lot of them come in multiple languages. Okay, but each card comes with different perks that you can select to use for your team, for random teams. Amazing, easy to use. You have them there. There are missions that you do each time you play, and it lays it out clearly. It tells you where to put it on the map. It's awesome. Some characters create minions, like Ultron and his drones right here, these bad boys. And they give you cards for those, so you don't have to, like, pretend they're there and you have them, okay? And it comes with their stats and their abilities on the back, which is awesome. And then every character you get comes with a card, okay? And they have 2 sides. Why do they have 2 sides? Because your character starts out, they're fresh, active, ready to go, and then at some point they get hurt, and when they get hurt, you can always tell because they're damaged on the back of their cards. They gain some new abilities, they get different strengths and things like that, because now they're angry and they're ready to fight, okay? And it's the same for all of them. They all have their good side, their bad side, and they're just really cool. And you just have these out and they're on the table, and it's awesome. And enough of the cards, because you're not here to look at cards, you're here to look at miniatures, and my goodness, here's just a few of them. They are awesome. Who doesn't love a gigantic teleporting dog, right? Or a lady with tons of hair, Medusa, if you don't know who that is. The model for Ultron is probably one of the coolest models that I have ever seen, and this is one that I cannot wait to paint. Oh, Adam Warlock, the Lizard, Miles Morales as Spider-Man, actual Peter Parker Spider-Man with Venom on the bottom here. Mysterio, one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. Doc Ock, another Spider-Man villain. There's just so much to these models and what they bring to the game, and It's amazing. It's super fun. And like I said, I cannot wait to paint these. And that's it for me today. Like, Marvel Crisis Protocol, relatively cheap as far as tabletop games go to get into. You only need 5, 6, 7 maybe characters in your faction. The rules are online. You can find them. It's just an easy, fun game to get into, and the models are great, and the cards are great, and it's just one of those things that if you want to play with somebody, especially somebody younger, and you want to get them into tabletop gaming, this is possibly the best game to do that. Especially if there's someone you know who likes Marvel. I know, it's hard to find, right? And this game can get them into that, and so I feel like it's just one of those things I gotta talk about. I am going to paint some of them. I have the new Sentinel models that are freaking amazing. And you can decide to build the bigger Sentinel model with like battle damage, and it's freaking amazing. And so I cannot wait to paint that and get that on my table. And as always, if you're interested in more Marvel Crisis Protocol content, please let me know in the comments below. I plan on doing some stuff anyway, just because I think they're a great company and I like working with them. And I think it's a great game, and I really want to paint some Spider-Man and some other figures and some Sentinels and Colossus and just any cool character you can think of. You can paint them in there, generally. There's only a few that are, well, I shouldn't say there's a few. There's probably like 100 that are missing because there's so many Marvel characters. But they got most of the good ones that you want, I promise. And so, if that interests you, please like, subscribe, follow the channel. Let me know if you think there's a better starting war game than this. At least for all ages. I feel like this is like the all-encompassing, all ages, get them into tabletop gaming. And then from here, you can move on to other things. And if you disagree or you think there's another game that's better than this to start with, let me know. Shoot me a comment, and I would love to hear what you have to say and why you say it, because if there's an easier game than this, I want to know what it is. And as always, thank you for sticking around this long, and don't spend so much time building your world that you forget to spend some time in it. Until next time.